Okay, today we will see the norma lateralis from the lateral aspect of the skull. So up to now we have covered norma verticalis from the superior aspect. We have covered norma occipitalis from the posterior aspect and norma frontalis from the anterior aspect. Today we will see the norma lateralis from the lateral aspect. So we will see now what are the structures you can see in the norma lateralis. So what are the bones? So first you can see this bone is the frontal bone. Posterior to that is another bone. Behind the coronal suture, that is a parietal bone. Below that, this is a temporal bone, and in front of it, this bone is a sphenoid bone, and this part is called the greater wing of sphenoid. Okay. Now also we can see this bone, that is a zygomatic. You can see zygomatic arch. Also you can see the part of the mandible, maxilla, and the mandible, and some of the nasal bone. Okay. So today we will see about the temporal lines. Okay, we will study the temporal lines as we have discussed during the norma verticalis. Okay. Second, we will see about the zygomatic arch. Then we will see about the temporal fossa. Okay, about the zygomatic arch, this structure. After that we will see this is the external acoustic meatus. Posterior to this portion is called the mastoid process, and two part, that is the infratemporal fossa that is present here, and the pterygopalatine fossa. Okay, it is inside, that we will cover during the next tutorial. Okay, so first we will start the temporal lines. Okay, so here this is the temporal lines. Okay, however it is very much fade, but superior temporal line and the inferior temporal line. Superior temporal line, this is a zygomatic bone. Okay, this is a zygomatic bone. This is a zygomatic arch. Okay, this is a frontal process of the zygomatic bone. From here it will start the temporal lines, superior and the inferior temporal lines. Inferior temporal lines fades away, but the inferior temporal line continues anteriorly with the posterior root of the zygomatic arch, and it is continuous with this is called the supramastoid crest. Okay, so that is about the temporal lines. Okay, now we will see the zygomatic arch. Okay, so this is the zygomatic arch. Here you can see this is the zygomatic arch. This zygomatic arch, that is formed by this is the zygomatic bone. The anterior part, this is the fronto or you can say zygomatic temporal suture, or this suture, that is it is present at the junction of the anterior 1/3 and the posterior 2/3. So this posteriorly the zygomatic arch, that is formed by the posterior 2/3 and anterior 1/3 of the zygomatic arch. Okay. Now the zygomatic arch having the upper border and the lower border, or you can say this upper border is called the posterior root, and the lower border from here, this is a mandibular fossa for the articulation of the mandible. For the articulation of the mandible, this is a mandibular fossa. So here the upper border and this is the lower border. upper border that is called the posterior root, that is continuous with the supramastoid crest and the inferior temporal lines. Lower border that forms the articular tubercle in front of the mandibular fossa. Okay, so here this is the mandibular fossa, this is the external acoustic meatus. So here this is called the articular tubercle. Now this posterior root that is continuous with the supramastoid crest. Okay, so this is the supramastoid crest. Okay, so here also you can see. Okay, so from this side we will try to see. So here also this is the posterior root, or you can say this upper border that is continuous as a posterior root, and this posterior root is continuous with the supramastoid crest, and this is the inferior temporal line. Okay, now the anterior end. Okay, so here you can see this anterior end of the zygomatic arch. This point is called the jugal point. Okay, after that I am removing the mandible from the mandibular fossa. So here this is the mandibular fossa. This is called the articular tubercle, and the posterior part, this is called the postglenoid tubercle, or you can say in front of the external acoustic meatus. This is called the articular tubercle, and this is called postglenoid tubercle. So this is all about the zygomatic arch. Now above the zygomatic arch, this portion is called the temporal fossa. So now we will see the temporal fossa. Now this is the temporal fossa above the zygomatic arch. This temporal fossa, upper limit is the temporal lines that we have studied. So this is the temporal lines. Okay, superior temporal line fades away and inferior temporal line continues as the supramastoid crest, and then it continues with the upper border of the zygomatic arch. Okay, now so what are the bones you can see in the temporal fossa? So here you can see this is the frontal bone, this is the parietal bone, this is a squamous part of the temporal bone, and this portion that is called this bone is called the greater wing of the sphenoid. Okay, so here you can see this is a communication. So what are the communication? So here you can see the forebone meets here in the shape of H, and this is called the point that is called the pterion. Okay, so what is pterion? So pterion is the meeting point of forebone. First frontal, parietal, temporal, and the greater wing of the sphenoid. What is the importance of the pterion? Okay, so here at the pterion, the three important structures are present deep to the pterion. First is a anterior division of middle meningeal artery, middle meningeal vein, and a stem of the lateral sulcus of the brain, also called the Sylvian point. Okay, the three structures are present deep to the pterion. First is a middle meningeal vein, second is anterior division of the middle meningeal artery, and third is a lateral sulcus of the brain, or you can say the stem of the lateral sulcus of the brain. So the pterion is present 2.5 centimeter behind the frontozygomatic suture. Okay, this is a fronto and this zygomatic suture. This is the frontozygomatic suture, 2.5 centimeter behind and 4 centimeter above. Okay, so this is the meeting point. So this is about the pterion. Okay, so this is all about the temporal fossa. Now we will move towards the external acoustic meatus. So this is the external acoustic meatus. Okay, you can see this opening is called external acoustic meatus. Okay. So here this is a temporal bone. Another part of this is a squamous part of the temporal bone, and this is a tympanic part of the temporal bone. Okay. So here it is present. This is the posterior root, or you can say here this is a postglenoid tubercle that we have discussed, and behind that there is a external acoustic meatus. Here the lower this portion that is formed by the tympanic plate. Okay, this posterior margin, lower part, and the posterior margin that is formed by the tympanic plate. Postero-superior margin, this is the postero-superior margin that is formed by the squamous part of the temporal bone. So external acoustic meatus that is formed by this posterior margin by the squamous part of the temporal bone, and this lower part by the tympanic plate. Okay, so that is about the external acoustic meatus. Now there is one triangle that is called the suprameatal triangle. So this area, or you can say the triangle of the Mersenne, is a small depression postero-superior to the meatus. Okay, what are the boundaries of the suprameatal triangle? Okay, so we will see what are the boundaries. So it is bounded above. This is a supramastoid crest. So supramastoid crest is present above. In front by the postero-superior margin, or you can say this is the front postero-superior margin of the external meatus, and posteriorly by drawing a vertical tangent. Okay, so that is about the suprameatal triangle. 1 mark MCQ question. Sometimes there is a suprameatal spine may be present on the antero-inferior margin of the triangle. This triangle forms the lateral wall of the tympanic or the mastoid antrum. Okay, so that is about the external acoustic meatus. Now we will see the mastoid part of the temporal bone. Okay, so here you can see just behind the external acoustic meatus, this portion is called the mastoid part of the temporal bone. So here it is continuous anteriorly with the squamous part of the temporal bone. Okay, and partially here there is a one suture, that is occipito-mastoid suture. So posteriorly it is limited by this suture. This is called the occipito-mastoid suture. Okay, so we will see now the point here you can see this portion is the meeting point, okay, of the first, that is the occipito-mastoid suture. Second is the parieto-mastoid suture, and third you can see the lambdoid suture. Okay, so this is lambdoid suture. So this meeting point is called the asterion. So what is asterion? So asterion is the meeting point of the occipito-mastoid suture, parieto-mastoid suture, and the end of lambdoid suture. It is also called the posterolateral fontanelle or the mastoid fontanelle, which closes by the 12th month, means after the 1 year of the birth. Here also you can see this is the mastoid process. Okay, this is called the mastoid process. Is a one projection in the lower part of the mastoid temporal bone. Okay, it appears during the second year of the life. So after the 2 years of the birth, this mastoid process is developed. Okay, so here one of the fissure that is called this fissure that is or the base of the mastoid process, this fissure between the external acoustic meatus and the mastoid process, this fissure is called the tympanomastoid fissure. Fissure means a small nick-like structure through which some of the structure pass. So this tympanomastoid fissure, from this tympanomastoid fissure, auricular branch of the vagus nerve will pass. Okay, is passing. Now lastly we will see the styloid process. Okay, now the styloid process, here you can see from the tympanic plate. Okay, this is external acoustic meatus and this is a tympanic plate. Okay, so from the tympanic plate this is the styloid process. Okay, and it is a pointed and this is called the styloid process. It is a needle like thin long projection from the temporal bone. Okay, it is directed downward. Okay, this is a downward, forward and the medially. Okay, the apex and the tip is usually hidden from view by the posterior border of the ramus of the mandible. So when the mandible is also present, you cannot see clearly the styloid process, but this is the styloid process from the lateral aspect. When we will see the norma basalis, then we will study detail the styloid process and apparatus. Okay, so now only two topics are not covered in the norma lateralis, that is, first is this part. Okay, this is the first part. This is the infratemporal fossa and the pterygopalatine fossa that we will discuss later. Okay, so now in this tutorial the applied anatomy is important, that is this point that is called the pterion and this point is the asterion. Thank you so much.